Hello, welcome back to Survival Saturday with Johnny Tiger on November 28, 2020. Last Survival Saturday, we talked about the important things you can do to enhance your speed in the fight, to build the speed of a puma, to build that lightning fast strike, to build that viper-like reflexes. But today I'm here to first tell you that unless you know all about when to use speed, how to use your speed, and how to get the best out of your speed. Unless you know all the ins and outs of what to do and what not to do, speed is not everything. In fact, speed, when it really comes down to it, counts for very little in a survival or self-defense confrontation. It's important, yeah, it's important to have a bit of speed because if you are sluggish and slow, then things get done a lot harder. But just having that speed, just being the fastest person on the planet, is not going to save you if you don't have the rest of the formula. Just look at our pop culture for references. Let's have a little bit of a geek talk here. Batman versus Superman. Okay? Some of you seen the movie, some of you read the comic book. Superman is the speed of a bullet, a speed of runaway trains, the power of a locomotive, and the speed of a bullet. Batman, the speed of a normal human being. But when it goes down to Batman versus Superman, who wins? Batman kick Superman butt almost every single time. And then you look at, just take a broad look at your general comic book, video game, pop culture, movies, book, novels. How often do you actually see the most powerful hero or the most powerful villain being the fastest guy? Very rarely, unless you're reading the Flash comic, or unless you're uh, reading something like the Dragon Ball Z Japanese anime, then they put a lot more stock on speed in those things. But generally speaking, no matter if you look at Ninja Turtle, G.I. Joe, Thundercats, Master of the Universe, She-Ra, uh, Captain America, Spider-Man, blah blah blah, you can go on and on. I would say 9 out of 10. The guy who is super fast is just a side character, a side note in the main story. Because almost every single time, when it comes down to it, the person who's super fast is only really effective against someone who's super slow. But if you have someone who is super fast versus someone who's relatively fast but strong and smart, the person who is a little bit slower but stronger and smarter is going to win the confrontation. A lot of people like to ask this question. If Bruce Lee were to fight Muhammad Ali, who would win? Bruce Lee being like one of the fastest martial artists most people can think of, and Muhammad Ali being a strong, agile boxer, but definitely nowhere as fast as Bruce Lee. Well, I'm not fooling you. You can go Google this if you want. Actually, please do. It's actually quite an interesting read. During one interview, Bruce Lee said he used to, on break, during his filming session, he would look at Muhammad Ali's fight on TV, and he would copy Muhammad Ali's stances and moves. And then when the interview host asked Bruce Lee, so Would you ever like to fight Muhammad Ali? Would you ever consider that you can beat him? Bruce Lee himself said, "Don't be silly. Look at his hand. I got tiny little Chinese hand. He would kill me." That's what Bruce Lee said. So even Bruce Lee, maybe he was just being humble, but Bruce Lee's never known to be a humble person. So if he said that Muhammad Ali would kill him, I believe he knew for a fact that Muhammad Ali would beat him, no matter how fast Bruce Lee was. Some of you may be thinking, well, okay, you're standing there talking about cartoons and comic books and Bruce Lee, that was speculation, but there got to be more to it, right? Yes, there is. Let me use myself as an example. I have been kicking around martial art circle for about 30 years by this time, and I have been in many, many, many fights, tournament, sparring, uh, unofficial tournament, um, schoolyard brawl, bar fight, back alley brawl, you name it. I got into it, including a few that involved people trying to kill me with a knife. Okay, out of most of encounters, most conflict I've been in, I can tell you that on average, I win 3 fight for every 1 fight I would lose. Now, if I were a professional fighter, that's a lousy record. 3-1, that's a lousy record. But for someone who is totally blind and partially deaf, that's damn impressive. Okay, I'm willing to stand here and say that that's damn impressive, especially when we are talking about over 600 big and small conflicts. Now, I will tell you, almost everyone I fought, almost everyone I fought, have the potential of being faster than me. Now, some of you are thinking, no, something's wrong there. That can't be right. You are known to be really, really fast. So how can everyone or almost everyone you fought be faster than you or have the potential of being faster than you? Well, let's look at what is speed. What is the actual part that speed is playing in a fight? The one big advantage your speed will give you in a fight if you move so fast that the other person doesn't see it coming. You move so fast the other person doesn't see it coming, right? Well, Mr. Totally Blind over here obviously does not see it coming every single time. So even the slowest person on this planet can hit me and I wouldn't see it coming. And yet I'm able to win 3 fights for every one that I lost. Why is that? That right there is a good example why just having that speed, just having that being able to hit you before you see it is not enough to help you win a fight. Okay? So today, since last session, we already talked about how to build that speed. This session, we are going to talk about the 6 things to keep in mind, the 6 don'ts, 6 things you don't want to do when we talk about speed. Now, if you can keep these in mind, and if you practice and train like we discussed in the last session, then hopefully your increasing speed will be of great asset in your martial art self-defense training. But always keep in mind, just having that speed is not enough. Item number 1, the first don't. in the topic of conversation of speed is don't tense up. Don't tense up, okay? Like seriously, don't tense up. Some people look at runners and they think, oh well, you look at before they run, they go down and tense up into that position. That's great because there's no diversity in running, okay? In a running competition, you know which direction you're going to go. You know which direction that everyone else is going to go or they're supposed to go. There's only one way to do this. Okay? This means, yeah, if you tense up, get your muscles so tense and ready, then you boom, fire forward. You just go in that direction. You're like a coiled spring. That's great. But in a self-defense or martial arts circumstance, things are always fluid. Even if we are just talking about boxing, that person in front of you may be coming at you with a jab, may coming with you with a cross, coming with you with a left hook, right hook, uppercut, hook to the body. Okay, right there. There's eight things. There's eight things. We haven't even factored in what angle they're standing at. Are they coming from the left or right? A little bit more to the left, a little more to the right. Are they circling behind you? So if you tense up, you're going to slow yourself down because while you're tensing up, your muscles, for them to change direction, they have to relax and change direction and tense up again. Okay? Everything moves slower when they're tense, especially when they have to move in an unexpected direction. Now, if all you have to do is run forward, then yeah, okay, by all means, tense up all you want. But when you have to react to a series of unpredictable factors and situations and angles, don't tense up. Rule number one of maintaining speed is don't tense up. Stay nice and loose, nice and loose. This way, when they come from the right, they come from the left, they come from the bottom, when they come from the bottom, you can react right away. Okay? If you're not, if you're all stiff, okay, if you're all stiff, you're ready for that uppercut, you're ready to block down, and then suddenly come from the right, then you're all awkward. You're not coordinated. Okay? Your muscles ready to go one direction now have to go another direction. You're slowing yourself down by tensing up. So rule number one, don't tense up. Rule number two, don't rush. Be quick, but don't rush. That might sound like a little bit of a contradictory advice, but there's a difference between being quick and relaxed versus being quick and rush. Okay? As one famous Western, Old West, Wild West gunfighter said, it's much better to draw your gun and take that one half a second to aim and hit what you meant to hit, then rush your draw and then fire your gun and miss your target. You might be faster, but you miss your target because you rush. Okay? It's very important. Being quick and steady versus being quick and rush. Right? You rush your movement, you might trip over something, you might walk into something that you didn't previously take into consideration. You might miss your target altogether, and now you leave yourself wide open. So if you have to take that one half of a second to make sure that you hit what you want to hit, to make sure that you catch what you're going to block, then do it. Don't rush your movement. Okay? You're only as quick as you are quick. If you rush it, And that's not quickness. That's just you being rushed. Number three, be quick, but don't be sloppy. I personally see this one all the time in training, in uh, various fighting circles, community. People who are super fast because they cut corners in their movement. For example, if I throw a jab, retract my fist, and a hook, okay? Jab hook, jab hook, jab hook. That's me being quick, but not sloppy. I can be even quicker if I don't retract my fist. Jab hook, jab hook, jab hook, jab hook. Okay? That's like half a second quicker than the other one. But is that going to do any good? No. Because now I'm sloppy. I cut the retraction of my fist, the torque of my body. I cut 2 steps out of the combo. Yes, in the end, it makes the combo faster, but it takes a heck of a lot more power out of the combo. And also, I run the risk of getting hit in the face because I didn't retract my hand to guard my face before firing off the next shot. Okay, so don't be sloppy. For those of you, I used this example before. For those of you who watched Game of Thrones and seen that Viper versus Mountain fight, you know what I'm talking about. The Viper, like 10 times faster than the Mountain. Better technique, better reach, better speed, better everything. And then he got sloppy, and the ending was really sad. So be quick, but don't be sloppy. Number four, be quick, but don't be predictable. A lot of people who are quick, they are so secure in their quickness that every time they do things, they do it more or less the same way because they believe they are quick. Okay? If I throw a straight punch at you and you fail to block it because of how quick I am, next time I throw another straight punch and I turn around, fight the next guy, another straight punch, I turn around, fight another guy, another straight punch. Okay? I'm quick, but I'm predictable. It's the same hand, same punch all the same time. Eventually, you're going to run into someone slower, but a lot smarter. And they're going to see that coming. And if they know that is coming, it doesn't matter how quick you are. It's not going to work. Okay? I'm going to use another pop culture movie example. Wolverine Origin. Not a bad movie, pretty decent actually. I talked about this one too. In that movie, one of my favorite characters is the Sabretooth. Sabretooth, he's a big, hulking, savage guy. He's not very quick. And then he fought against this guy who could teleport. Now, you can't be any quicker than someone who can suddenly teleport and appear behind you, suddenly appear beside you, suddenly appear 10 feet away, okay? Like, that's like as quick as it's going to get. Sabretooth killed the guy because that guy was predictable. It doesn't matter, it didn't matter how quick the guy was. He was predictable, so Sabretooth knew where he was going to appear, so when he teleported behind him, all Sabretooth had to do was put his claws in the spot where the guy was going to appear, and the guy teleported there and got himself cut open. Right? So it's nice to be quick, but if you think being quick means just go into your opponent and bang, 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 like 100 punches a second, all in the same spot. It might work on guy number one, it might work on guy number two. By the time you run into someone who is pretty well trained, pretty tough, pretty strong, maybe not as fast, you are going to run into a problem because you are predictable and they are going to find a way to counter your movement no matter how fast you are. Number five, be quick, but don't lose control. Now this one may sound like it's about the same as the don't be sloppy, but there's a difference. A lot of people choose to be sloppy. Okay, when I throw a jab and a hook, I'm choosing to cut out the retraction of the arm. I'm choosing to cut out the torque of the body. So I'm sloppy on purpose. That's one thing. What's even worse is people who go super fast and then lose control. Right? Let's say someone's coming at me with a knife, and then I use my super fast technique to deflect the knife to the side and step in. Right? But this person happened to be a lot stronger than I thought. So when I go and deflect, I think his arm's going to go to the side, but he actually didn't. He's still right in front of me. But because I'm moving so fast, I walked right into his knife. Okay? That is being quick and lose control. Never be so quick that you can't put on the brake and change direction at the last minute. That is very important. It's not going to do you any favor if you go into your cool martial art move and you go do it super quick, super fast, and you bang, and then now you're overextended, and now you're off balance, and the other person that clouds you on the back of the head, and down you go. Okay? So don't lose control just because you want to be super fast. Last but not least, be quick, but don't sacrifice power. At least don't sacrifice too much power. You're going to lose some power when you focus a lot on speed. That is unavoidable. But if it's a matter of hitting at 4 punches a second and hitting at 900 pounds per inch versus hitting 10 times a second and only hitting at 400 pounds per inch, then you want to go with the 4 punches a second, not the 10 punches a second. Okay? Now some people say, yeah, but if 10 punches is 400 each, and then you add them up, that's a lot more than the four. That is true, but we are not doing math over here. Okay? Hitting, if you are a good puncher, if you are good at what you do, all it takes is one solid punch to knock the person out. You don't need 10. Okay? So when you dish out that 10 punches at the expense of your power being cut in half, it's not worth it. Because what if you run into a person twice as big as you are and can take a lot of hits? Then what are you going to do? You do 10 punches and then he hits you once and the fight is over. Okay? I have a personal story for this one actually. I remember when I was this was when I was like 17, and I fought this guy from Alberta. We were at a summer camp, and actually, and this guy heard that I was a martial arts enthusiast and I was pretty good at fighting. And he came over to me at the lunch, and he came to my table and he said, "Hey, I heard that you're pretty good." I said, I said to him, I said, what do you mean, pretty good? He said, I heard you're a good fighter. I said, well, I'm okay. He said, I want to fight you. And that night, after dinner, him and I, we set out for our duel outside the campground. Just a friendly little fight, you know, neither of us mad at each other or anything. Now, this guy, he was a boxer, he was a weightlifter, he was maybe 4 inches taller than me and weighed maybe 20 pounds more. He came out of his corner just super fast, a lot of really fast punches. Like, honestly, I had no way of getting one punch in there without opening myself up and get hit. Okay, so he was going super fast. Like I said, like 10 punches a second. Or I'm sure he wasn't that fast, but it was something like that. It was crazy. He just came at me like a bat out of hell. And he was a taller, stronger, longer reach. So for the first 30 seconds of that fight, he just came at me like crazy, and I just kept stepping back to the side, stepping back to the side, stepping back to the side, keeping my face protected, catching most of his punches on my arm, and then, and after 30 seconds of that nonsense, finally he started to get tired. His arm started to droop, and I just shuffled him, boom, right in the face. One punch, down he went. It was over. He hit me like 100 times. I hit him like one time. And that was it. Okay? So if you have to take a pick between power and speed, I'm not saying you should pick power, but don't sacrifice too much power for the sake of speed. So, quick recap. To make sure you get the most out of your speed, first, don't tense up. Second, don't rush. Third, don't be sloppy. Fourth, don't lose control. Fifth, don't be predictable. And last but not least, don't sacrifice too much power. Thank you for checking out today's Survival Saturday. We'll be back again tomorrow for Soul Search Sunday. And now, have a good night.